Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, Vince Coglianese.
Hey, good afternoon to you. 3:06 here, News Talk 105.9 WMAL, where we are making sense of the news. Coming up on the program, Carrie Pickett will join us at the top of the hour, the Washington Times White House correspondent. We will chat with her about James Comey's honeypot operations against President Trump. Carrie's got the details on that. Daniel Turner from Power of the Future here at 5 o'clock. And then back at 5:30, we are rejoined by the state representative from Maine, Laurel Libby. All she's interested in doing is keeping boys from cheating in girls' sports, and it has caused chaos in her state. It's all ahead on the Vince Coglianese Show. You can join us today at 888-630-9625, 888-630-WMAL. The Jeffrey Epstein files. We're all awaiting all of the details from the Trump administration releasing the documents of that wealthy sex criminal, the late wealthy sex criminal Jeffrey Epstein, and what names may be made public for the first time as having been associated with a just disgraceful pedophile ring. So many secrets continue to exist with that story, and President Trump has made a commitment to reveal as much as he possibly can here. The FBI, the Attorney General, has been saying that the only delay they've had so far is they're trying to censor, redact from the documents the names of the hundreds of victims. So that took some time going through the documents to prevent them from any more chaos in their lives, to remove their names from all of that. And in just the last few minutes, in the last hour, we saw a bunch of conservative influencers, conservative social media personalities, conservatives, I don't have to add any other explanations. A bunch of conservatives walk out of the West Wing carrying binders that said that they were the Epstein files, and they said phase one. In other words, that there are additional phases coming. And they were holding them up as they came out the building, and you could see photographers taking pictures. The photos are getting around now. But the mistake I made in the last hour was I thought that they had uploaded them to the FBI website because the FBI does have a repository of some of these Epstein files. And I started looking through them, and I go, boy, not much new in this stuff. A lot of this seems like old news. There's like newspaper clippings and things. I'm just told in the last few minutes that may be because that stuff was uploaded in 2022. This is some aged stuff I was staring at, trying to make sense of rapidly ahead of this broadcast. So for now, we await some certainty on the details of what's coming out today about Jeffrey Epstein. But if I were to guess, it's not going to be jaw-dropping. And the reason I'm reaching this conclusion is because Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, has released a letter today, in fact, just sent to FBI Director Kash Patel, saying that there are people within the FBI who are still hiding documents from the Attorney General as we speak. More on that in a moment. I want to play for you Attorney General Pam Bondi. This is last night, talking about how she would release this information today. Here she was on the Fox News channel.
You said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk. When can we see them, and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims. 200. So we have over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released.
Some
by
Epstein
my office.
information.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah. What you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. But it's pretty sick what that man did.
Okay, well
that's true. We already knew it was sick what he did. That part is already public information. The question becomes certainly what kind of blackmail did he have on various rich and powerful people all around the planet? You heard Jesse Waters say there that the operation appeared to be that these rich, wealthy people thought they could squirrel off to a place where nobody would tell their secret that they were hurting these young women, and that they would do it in the sight of video cameras that Jeffrey Epstein had hid everywhere, and that he could then subsequently use that tape as a means of blackmail in order to enrich himself. I mean, much of Jeffrey Epstein's wealth to this very day continues to be a mystery, how he became so filthy rich. Some of the answers may be found in all of the files that the FBI might be in control of. And Pam Bondi, you probably listen to these things like I do. Where's the scandalous stuff? Where's the most important stuff? And she said, well, some new information's coming out. It's really sick what that guy did. That's what I heard over the course of that clip. And look, I'm happy that she's pursuing the president's agenda here to get this stuff out. But you hear that and you're like, okay, what's going to be in this stuff? Senator Marsha Blackburn today said that phase one is imminent. Here's what she had to say.
Senator, you said you're going to release what you know. What can you tell us?
Yes, indeed, and I've been so pleased that AG Bondi and Director Patel have worked with me on this. As she said, we have to make certain that these victims, and it is over 250, that their names are redacted, they are protected. And Maria, this is going to be a phase one release in short order. I will have the hard copy in my hand. AG Bondi is responsible for what will be the public release on this. She has worked diligently on this, and so appreciative that we can begin to get this information, that we can begin to break apart what became a global human trafficking, sex trafficking ring, about $150 billion a year business. It is time to get some justice for these victims, for these women and children, and this will be a phase one release. There will be more to come.
Okay. So who are the clients? Isn't that really, that's what we want to know. Who are the ghouls who abuse these women, who abuse these girls? Who are they? Those are the answers we're looking for. And if the FBI has these names, how come they're not being prosecuted? What's going on there? You know, I'm pretty sure that the FBI is looking for evidence of crimes. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And then handing it off to prosecutors, getting them to charge these guys. Nothing. Crickets. Was it two people? Like Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein? One of whom didn't kill himself in a federal prison where the cameras were off and the guards falsified the logs and nobody checked the room. It was a perfect storm of incompetence, and Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Meanwhile, the letter today, Pam Bondi, the Attorney General has released a letter. It is dated today, February 27th, Office of the Attorney General. Dear Director Patel, before you came into office, I requested the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. In response to this request, I received approximately 200 pages of documents, which consisted primarily of flight logs, Epstein's list of contacts, and a list of victims' names and phone numbers. I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request. There's already no way. 200 pages of paper? That's it? That's the whole Jeffrey Epstein file? We sent everything. 200 pages? Yeah, her spidey senses better be up. 200 pages. I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request, and I was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we had received the full set of documents. Late yesterday, I learned from a source that the FBI field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and the indictment of Epstein. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files. When you and I spoke yesterday, you were just as surprised as I was to learn this new information. I want to know what time of day they spoke, because obviously it was last night on Jesse Waters' program. When was that show on? 7 o'clock? 8 o'clock? He's on around that time. On Jesse Waters' program, that Pam Bondi revealed, we're releasing documents tomorrow. If she had this information ready to go as of last night, she would have said that on Fox. Hey, I'm concerned here. The FBI has been withholding stuff. She didn't say that. You noticed. She just said, hey, information's coming out. What we have, we're going to share. So this must have been late last night. She has a conversation with FBI Director Kash Patel and says, hey, somebody just told me, somebody in this department who's willing to tell the truth, contacted me and said that the FBI field office in New York has thousands of Epstein documents that were never given to me. Do you know about this? And Kash Patel responds, I had no idea about that. She says in this letter that he was just as surprised as she was to learn about all of this. Now, we should all collectively note this letter is being released publicly because they want us to know the mess that they're dealing with right now. They want you to know the challenge that they're facing inside of the government. Resistance in the government. It's not the first story we've heard like this. We saw a story, I think it was CNN this past week, that was reporting that there's concerns that fired CIA personnel may sell state secrets to other governments out of bitterness. What? But and by the way, that CNN report blamed Trump for this circumstance. They said, man, that Trump, he's really letting state secrets slip by firing CIA people. Really shouldn't be doing that if he wanted to protect state secrets. No, the people who swore an oath to this country, the people who were given classified security clearances, the people who are supposed to be well aware of the legal consequences for sharing state secrets, is on them if they sell out to a foreign adversary. That is squarely on them. It's not on President Trump for holding these agencies accountable. So Pam Bondi has given Kash Patel an order today. Here's the order. By 8 a.m. tomorrow, February 28th, that's Friday morning, the FBI will deliver the full and complete Epstein files to my office, including all records, documents, audio, and video recordings, and materials related to Jeffrey Epstein and his clients, regardless of how such information was obtained. Oh, she's not messing around. She wants anything that even sounds like Jeffrey Epstein appearing in her office by tomorrow, 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, I hope what this means is that there is a frantic effort to rifle through every drawer of the federal government right now to get these documents over. But I fear, of course, that the very same people who've been trying to orchestrate the cover-up to begin with are going to keep sitting on their hands and trying to resist letting you know what they know. She says, there will be no withholdings or limitations to my or your access, she says to Kash Patel. The Department of Justice will ensure that any public disclosure of these files will be done in a manner that protects the privacy of victims and in accordance with the law, as I have done my entire career as a prosecutor. I'm also directing you, Kash Patel, to conduct an immediate investigation into why my order to the FBI was not followed. You will deliver to me a comprehensive report of your findings and proposed personnel action within 14 days. Kash has 2 weeks now for a mission that he surely agrees with. Doesn't matter. He's being ordered to do it, but he surely agrees with this mission. Get to the bottom of why you have federal government employees ignoring the orders of the sitting Attorney General of the United States of America. Attorney General Bondi finishes this way. I appreciate your immediate attention to this important matter. I know that we are both committed to transparency for the American people, and I look forward to continuing to work with you to serve our president and our country. Sincerely, Pamela Bondi, Attorney General. A sternly worded letter to an ally in the government saying, we have a big job ahead of us. 3:20 now.
WMAL, more than just politics, because laughter is the best medicine. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Fox News reporter Bill Malugin, pretty reliable source of information, out with an item in just the last few minutes. He says that federal sources are telling his colleague David Spunt, another Fox News reporter, that the Department of Justice is going to post phase 1 of the Epstein files. So yes, I was hoodwinked by the available files that are on the FBI's website Phase 1 will be posted later today online. So at some point, the rest of us can look at this, right? So far, it looks like the White House handed out some physical copies to a number of conservatives who had them and left the White House. But look, there's a lot to go through. You got to take pictures and upload it, or run it through a machine, and I don't know where everybody has their offices at, or if they can quickly use their phone to get all of this information out. But here's what they're saying. It's going online later today, according to Fox. But what's going to be released has already, quote, largely been seen in the public domain prior to today, end quote. David is told there are no major surprises in this first batch. Look, I get that they're trying to release stuff, to the extent that they have it. Now, Pam Bondi is saying that the FBI has been hoodwinking her, blocking her from getting all this information out. And she's asked Kash Patel to help her get to the bottom of this. Why are thousands of pages of documents that she's aware of now being kept from her? But if you're going to release information publicly, you're going to do it in tranches, start with the good stuff, would you? Would you lead with your best stuff? And then you can color in the lines in the days ahead. Like, oh, here's all this other stuff that tells you exactly, what time something occurred or what their outfit looked like or what they got for a snack. I'm not interested in that stuff. Lead with the good stuff, meaning, and I should be careful. I shouldn't use the phrase good stuff. What I mean is the screaming lead, the most important thing, the essential element here, the client list, the people who are responsible for abusing these girls. This wasn't a two-person operation. It wasn't just Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. It was everybody who was involved. And we want more information. There is an active effort within the FBI to subvert that today in the Trump era. So that fight continues. But Attorney General Bondi all over it. Speaking of the FBI and acts of subversion and interfering in American politics, one of the big items this week is a closer look at James Comey's honeypot operation that he employed apparently two bombshells that he dropped into the Trump campaign to try and frame the Trump campaign back in 2016, back during that 2016 campaign. Carrie Pickett will be joining us at the top of the hour. She has exclusive reporting on this subject this week. We will talk to her. We'll get the latest. And as always, you can join us, 888-630-9625, 888-630-WMAL.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Hey, good afternoon to you. It's 3:35 here at News Talk 105.9 WMAL, where we're making sense of the news. Coming up, Carrie Pickett at 4 o'clock from the Washington Times. We talked to her about James Comey's honeypot operation against the Trump campaign. Daniel Turner will join us from Power of the Future at 5 o'clock. And then State Representative from Maine, Laurel Libby, rejoins us this week for an update on the miserable way that her state house is now treating her because she merely said boys should not cheat in girls' sports. It is crazy. You can join us, 888-630-9625, 888-630-WMAL. That's where we find Ivan calling in from Miramar Beach, Florida, line 3. Ivan, you're on the Vince Coglianese Show.
Hey, Vince, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right, Ivan. How's the beach?
It is awesome. Although I don't go much. I golf a lot, but I don't go to the beach much. My wife goes.
That's right. It's nice to look at.
Hey, listen, Vince. I wish Pam Bondi had included in her letter to Kash, anyone complicit in the withholding of this information shall be fired with cause and without benefits. Just put a little bit of teeth into it. And I believe the top two levels of the FBI should have been doged myself. And Dan Bongino can't get there fast enough for us, Vince.
Yeah, no, we're tortured here at WMAL. He can't get there fast enough, and he can't stay long enough. Thanks a lot, my friend. That's the problem we have. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, there's a lot more people need to be bulldozered. They need to be pushed out of the way. But to this point about Pam Bondi's letter, Ivan's right that this didn't say they will be fired, but it could be more than that. I don't know. Here's what she did say. Remember this line. To Kash Patel. I am also directing you to conduct an immediate investigation into why my order to the FBI was not followed. You will deliver to me a comprehensive report of your findings and proposed personnel action. within 14 days. That means, yeah, send it to me. Let me know what happened, and then tell me what the consequences are going to be for those FBI officials. So consequences very clearly in this letter today from Pam Bondi to Kash Patel as she's trying to figure out why did the FBI squirrel away thousands of Epstein documents and not send them to the Attorney General for whom they work. They work for the Attorney General of the United States. They didn't send them. And she kept asking, are they out there? Is there more than this? Just 200 pages? They're like, no, that's it. That's everything. Don't you worry. That's all you need. That's all you need. Behavior like that, by the way, does suggest that you're in on the cover-up. I mean, obviously you are on a cover-up, but there's that you have a vested interest in the cover-up. What's that about? What are you hiding? That's what I want to know. What's going on there? All right. So the President of the United States, he's meeting with the UK Prime Minister today, Keir Starmer. The two of them answering some questions. We'll keep an eye on that and bring you any of the juicy stuff because, as you know, these press conferences could be very interesting. Keir Starmer saying today that President Trump and the relationship between the United States and the UK very, very special. Listen to this.
He's a beautiful man, a wonderful man, and we appreciate it. I've known him, gotten to know him very well, actually. Yeah. First term and now second term. Perhaps you'd like to say what that very important paragraph.
Yes, so this is a letter from His Majesty the King. It's an invitation for a second state visit. This is really special. This has never happened before. This is unprecedented.
What part of it is unprecedented? He did visit before, of course, the first time, and he visited with the Queen. Now he'll be visiting, presuming he takes him up on the invitation, with her son, the King. And you heard him, Keir Starmer, in his very British accent, presenting this and talking, this is a very big thing. No one ever gets this.
I think that just symbolises the strength of the relationship between us. So this is a very special letter.
You get one more punch, you get a sandwich.
I think the last state visit was a tremendous success. His Majesty the King wants to make this even better than that. So this is truly historic.
And you know what's going to happen? So President Trump is going to go, and he's going to be super respectful, and he's going to have a great time, as he always does. But the media is going to twist it up into, look how disrespectful he's being to the king because he didn't step in this one direction or he didn't follow that protocol. And like, you know, every single time, it's every foreign trip. Every foreign trip. Didn't he, remember, was it with Shinzo Abe that they were feeding the koi together in the koi pond? And so the media, like, intentionally cut out Shinzo Abe feeding the fish. They give him these little Chinese to-go containers full of, you know, fish food. Japanese, in that case. Containers full of fish food. And so in chronological order, Shinzo goes first, and he dumps all the food in the water, and the fish eat it. And then the only video in America that got around for a while is Trump. The second part of the video where Trump does the same thing Shinzo did. And Trump takes his fish food, dumps it in the water, and the fish go crazy. And remember, the whole reason it was a scandal was because, oh, no. In Japan, you're supposed to be very delicate, and it's like an honor culture, and you have to be very careful about how you do everything, and the protocol's really important. And what an oaf he is. Look at him dumping the fish food in the water like a stupid American. Oh, that is so embarrassing that you did that. And actually, what was awful was not Trump feeding fish, but the way the media tried to attack him for doing the same thing Shinzo did. So, you know. This is typical stuff. So President Trump has that to look forward to. Every foreign visit distorted by the media here in the United States.
An unprecedented second state visit, and he wants to talk that through with you.
And that says at Windsor. That's
yes.
Really something.
Yes. What I haven't got yet is your answer.
Yeah.
I do need to.
The answer is yes. On behalf of our wonderful First Lady, Melania, and myself, the answer is yes, and we look forward to being there and honoring the King. And
okay, I'm going to call it right now. How fly is Melania's outfit going to be for that? You know what I mean? She knows how to nail these things. She's going to hang out with royalty again? Let me just get those headlines written right away.
Honoring, really, your country. Your country is a fantastic country, and it'll be our honor to be there. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. I shall happily take that back to His Majesty.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So there's a good conversation starting there. President Trump was asked today about whether or not there's any progress in Canada and Mexico staving off the tariffs that are destined to hit them this coming month.
Eric, from the talks with Canada and Mexico so far, are you not seeing the progress that you wanted in order?
I don't see it at all. No, not on drugs. We've done a great job. If you look at Tom Homan, he's been incredible, and Christie, they've done a great job in terms of the border.
So here's the thing that Trump's getting at. It's the people that have stopped. Was it over on Saturday? We had 200 people total attempt to cross the American southern border. 200 people total attempt to cross that border. That's great news. That's great news. I mean, we're watching it plummet to nothing. So President Trump's happy with the people situation, and remember, Canada and Mexico, they both deployed each of the countries respectively 10,000 either law enforcement or troops, military, to secure that side of our border. And they're doing this to try and stop these tariffs. But what President Trump's saying is it's not good enough because Americans are still dying. We have fentanyl coming ultimately from China, but coming, those precursors and all the materials and even the people who were putting it together in Mexico. But then it comes through from the cartels. It's killing hundreds of thousands of American citizens. That's got to end. And if it doesn't, tariffs are coming.
But the drugs continue to pour into our country, killing hundreds of thousands of people. We're losing substantially more than 100,000 people. I mean, dead. They're dead.
Yeah.
The families are destroyed after that happens. So it's not just that. That's the ultimate. But the families are absolutely destroyed. The drugs come in through Mexico. They come, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them come from China. And that's why we did that. It's 10 plus 10. In case, was there confusion on that?
There was, sir. Yeah.
Okay, 10 plus 10. It's a second 10. And I think you're going to see, eventually you're going to see drugs stopping because the country should not be allowing those drugs to come into the United States of America. And we're not going to allow it to happen.
I mean, this is the most direct foreign policy interest of the United States. This is the most directly measurable impact on our country by any foreign actor. Killing over 100,000 Americans? Yeah. You can see why there's conversations about, do we deploy elite military units against the cartels? Do we drone strike the Sinaloa cartel? What are our options here? And how do we pursue them? At least that's a conversation that's closer to home that has a direct impact on the United States of America. Not hard to explain to an American citizen why American resources, money, treasure, and lives, most importantly, are on the line. Not hard to explain that because the answer is because Americans are dying. Over 100,000 a year. That's the answer. Meanwhile, of course, you have the war in Ukraine going on. President Trump is trying to stop that war. He wants to bring about a peace. And he's been negotiating a deal, one that he's looking to sign officially this week with Volodymyr Zelensky. This deal got a bit of chatter today inside of the White House. President Trump sitting next to Keir Starmer talking about it.
The deal, if we get it, is going to be hugely important. I don't think it would have happened if the space hadn't been created for it by yourself.
Yourself, meaning President Trump. Notice, of course, the UK earlier this week, and this is one of the deliverables as the Prime Minister arrives, they've increased their own defense spending all of a sudden because President Trump's been pressuring Europe, do it, and the UK doesn't want any trouble.
But if there's a deal in, we've got to make sure it's a deal that lasts, that is not temporary, but lasts, and that's why we need to make sure that it's secure, and we've lent in and said we'll play our part, and we've talked, and we will talk about how we work with yourself, Mr. President, to ensure that this deal is something which is not violated, because it's very important that if there is a deal, we keep it.
Yeah, President Trump saying, well, let's go with trust but verify.
Trust and verify, let's call it that. And I think we both can be that way. You have to verify, because you never know what's going to happen. I know a lot of people that you would say no chance that they would ever deceive you, and they're the worst people in the world. I know others that you would guarantee they would deceive you. And you know what? They're 100% honorable, so you never know what you're getting. No, I have confidence that if we make a deal, it's going to hold.
Yep. I have confidence that if we're going to make a deal, it's going to hold. They do say that the original source of this, Ronald Reagan used it, but the original source of it apparently a Russian proverb. So maybe it'll appeal to the Russians. Yeah, we're going to make a deal here. And as an old Russian proverb once said, trust but verify. Trust but verify. Yeah, well, okay. We'll mostly trust you, but we still want to verify. Let's see. President Trump asked about his common ground here with the UK. Where do you two stand together?
Mr. President, what do you get on most? What's your common ground with Sir Keir Starmer? Because you're both from different political backgrounds.
The British media.
Sure. I think I can say this because we've known each other now really for a little while. This is not our first meeting, as you know. He loves his country, and so do I. That's our common theme. He loves his country, and I love our country. And we also have two countries that have gotten along for the longest period of time. Number one ally on each side. And we have good. France and Australia, we have a lot of good ones. But we've had a long-time relationship, a long time, hundreds of years. And we like each other, frankly, and we like each other's country, and we love our country. And I think that's our common thread.
This is the message that President Trump has actually brought to international bodies when he gives speeches on the global community. It's always at its core, how are you taking care of your own people, right? President Trump's message is always sovereignty. Your obligation is your own country, your own people. And you love your people, you should. And you should take care of your people, you should. And so if you're wondering why the United States is acting this way under my leadership, President Trump would say, it's because I have a passion for my people. That's the point. So you're like, why is America doing this? Why aren't they helping us out? Because our people come first. That's the answer to that question. Just like your people should come first to you. And Europe would do well to get that message, by the way. Europe has abandoned that message. How many countries are in chaos because European leaders don't care about their citizens first? They've kicked open their borders. They've created crisis after crisis. They have abusive taxation policies. They have abusive civil liberties violations. J.D. Vance caused a huge stink just by going over to Europe, to Germany, and saying out loud, you are violating the free speech rights of your citizens. You are violating the religious rights of your citizens. You are arresting people for praying in their own heads, standing outside of abortion mills. And you call yourselves Western civilization? You have no right to. You need to restore the values that made Europe great in the first place. You need to bring them back. Where are you? He's trying to shake them awake. And of course, we saw a lot of tantrums. But what we want to see is more acknowledgement that he was right. He's right. If you are canceling elections, if you are imprisoning political opponents, you are not upholding the values of, quote, democracy. You are trampling them and bringing something very cruel into place. So President Trump today, going back to an old standby, the same old message that he always uses, which is a good one, which is, I love my country, he loves his country, and that's what we have in common. Let's start there. 3:50 now. WMAL, traffic and weather. Michelle Murray is in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
First thing each morning, O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9 on WMAL.
You ever wonder what happened to Tim Walz? No, you probably don't care that much, actually. That's fine. I'm right there with you. But there's a new piece of audio out today. Former vice presidential candidate, Democrat Minnesota Governor Tim Walz was caught claiming that America is being stolen by fascists and Nazis. Here's the audio. And this came to us from the Republican Minnesota State Senator Nate Westenberg. And these remarks were apparently made recently at a Minnesota Nurses Association event. Listen, Tim Walz.
You see the nonsense that's being put forward on that. We're going to need your voice there, because I would just end with this. And we're seeing it in these town halls. That charismatic leader's not going to come there. You know, I see the pundits on TV. What's wrong with the Democratic Party? What's wrong is our country's being stole by fascists and Nazis, and we're trying to do all we can to try and do that. But we need to use all the tools in our...
Thank God that guy didn't get elected. Also, you keep sticking with that message. That's going to keep you in the wilderness forever. So dispatch from Siberia, including with the kind of audio quality you might expect from Siberia. There's Tim Walz. Anybody who doesn't vote for me is a fascist. That's the spirit. That's upholding democracy. Coming up on the program, Carrie Pickett talks to us about all of the abuses at the hands of our government, including the time James Comey sent a couple of bombshells into the Trump campaign. Honeypots, they call them. These women, they are trouble. It's all ahead on the Vince Coglianese Show.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.